Jainarani students, today we are going to start the lecture series about the second branch of the government, that is executive. So let's first understand about what is executive. Executive is the second and the most powerful organ of the government. In fact, as we discussed earlier, the first organ of the government is legislative, which makes laws, and the second organ is executive, but it is the most powerful organ. It is even powerful than the legislative branch, and it has the responsibility to implement the laws passed by the legislature. If some law is passed by the legislature, you can say the parliament or the state legislative assemblies, then the executive of that state or the central executives have the responsibility to implement them. How they will be implemented, how they can be brought in among the citizen of the country. This is the responsibility of the executive. So they are made very powerful by the Constitution of India because they have the major responsibility, and also the government policies which are made, they are also implemented by the executive branch of the government. So if you talk about India, we have central executive and the state executive. If you talk about the central executive, it includes president, vice president, prime minister, council of minister, attorney general, and many other high official executives. State executive contains governor, chief minister, council of minister, advocate general, and other executive members of the government. If you talk about the types of executive, we have nominal and real executive, parliamentary and presidential executive, hereditary executive, and elected executive. And the last category is political and permanent executive. So we'll discuss in detail about them one by one. First, let's talk about the nominal executive. The nominal executive of a country, of a state, is in fact the head of the state, but it is nominal head. Means the real executive power is not exercised by the head of the state. For example, in India, we have president who is the head of the state, but the executive powers are not actually exercised by the president. These powers are exercised by the prime minister. So president is just a nominal head. He is the nominal executive. The president only works ceremonial powers. The president exercises only the ceremonial powers. There are many ceremonies, political ceremonies, where the president has to address the public, or address like the first session of the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha is collectively addressed by the president. It is a ceremony, so the president has to do this. So we can say that president is the nominal head and performs only the ceremonial tasks, but the real executive is the Prime Minister of India. So the Prime Minister exercises the real political powers, the real executive powers. If we talk about the parliamentary executive system, we have in India the parliamentary system, and the features of the system are as follows. First, there is one head of the state and the other head of the government. So there are two heads. One will be called the head of the state, like in India, the president is the head of the state, and other, the real executive, will be called the head of the government. Like in India, we have prime minister. The second is that the real executive must be a member of the parliament. Sorry, this is written uh, incorrectly here. You can correct it. The real executive must be a member of the parliament. Here it should be parliament. Okay, so correct it. The real executive, like in India, all the members of the government, all the ministers, the prime minister, they need to be the member of the parliament. They must be a member of Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. Third is the head of the government and the council of the ministers are collectively responsible. Means if any of the minister or the prime minister does something which is unconstitutional and they are proven guilty in the parliament, they will have to resign. All the members of the government have to resign. It is a collective responsibility. They are responsible towards the parliament, as the parliament represents the public of the citizen of the people, the public. So the parliament can hold responsible the entire government and ask them to resign, but their guilt must be proved in the parliament. If they have done something which is unconstitutional, if they have done something which is corrupt, then their guilt, if proved, they will have to resign from the parliament. Now let's come to the next topic, which is the presidential executive. We talked about the parliamentary executive, and we saw that there are two heads. One is the head of the state and the other is the head of the government. But in the presidential executive, there is only one head, and this head is head of the state as well as the head of the government. So the single person is the head of the state and also the head of the government. Like in America, the president of the America is head of the government and also the head of the state. And therefore, as president is the real executive here, so the president is directly elected by the people. Actually, in any country, the real executive is to be directly elected by the people. Like in India, we have prime minister as the real executive, so he or she is directly elected by the people in general elections. And in America, the president is the real executive, so he or she is directly elected by the people. It is not mandatory for executive to be a member of legislative, unlike in parliamentary system, where we studied that the real executive must be a member of the legislative. In presidential executive, it is not mandatory for the executive to be a member of the legislative. If you talk about the hereditary executive, you can take example of any monarchical system, either in modern world or in ancient times. Under the hereditary system, the head of the state, the executive of the state, is not elected, but he or she becomes the head of the state or becomes the executive by the virtue of belongingness from the same family. Like in the monarchy system, if there is a king or a queen, then the son or the daughter of that, generally the son, will become the next king of the state. So they inherit this throne from their ancestors. The executives inherit the throne from their ancestors in the hereditary system. They are not elected by the people of the country. But in elected executives, the executives are elected. So in all modern democracies, this system is followed and the executive is elected. Only a few exceptions are there. Like in some Arabian countries, there is system of uh, hereditary executives. Function of executive. These are the general functions. We will discuss about the functions of individual elements of executive, like we will discuss about the functions of president and prime minister separately, but these are the general functions which are performed by all the executives, whether it is any form of executive that we discussed earlier. First is the enforcement of laws. That means the laws made by the legislature. They must be implemented, and this implementation work is done by the executive. Second is appointment making functions. There are many other executive officials which are to be appointed for proper functioning, proper administration of the country. So these executives are appointed by the top executives. Executive appoints the lower executives. Treaty making functions. With respect to the foreign affairs, there are requirements. There are situations where some treaty is necessary between two countries. So the executives of both the countries make treaty with one another. Fourth is the defense, war, and peace functions. If there is a situation of war, then the proper instructions, the guidance, the orders are given by the executives to maintain to protect the country, to make any defense policies. the executive has to function. And fifth is the foreign policy making and the conduct of the foreign relation, as we discussed with respect to the foreign affairs. Both the executives, the executives of both the countries have to sign many treaties, and therefore the foreign relations are maintained by the executives of the states. So this is the end of this lecture, and I hope you all are doing good. You all are safe at your homes. Follow the message of SMS, that is, use soap regularly and wear the mask. Also, maintain the social distancing while you are in public places. Thank you, students. Jai Narayan. If you have any queries related with this, you can ask in the